Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we'll learn how to interface LCD screen with Arduino. LCD stands for Liquid Crystal Display. So this is a type of module where you can print any type of text from your project. In the screen, you can see a 16 by 2 LCD. 16 means there will be 16 columns and 2 means there will be 2 rows. There are also other types of LCD like 20 by 4. Now, when you are dealing with an LCD, there will be several pins. Like here you can see, it has 1 to 16, total 16 pins with LCD. And when you are using an LCD module, you'll have to configure for them. Before going ahead, let us take a brief idea of these pins. First of all, the LCD has ground and VCC pin. Here you can see VSS, this is for ground, and VCC, this is for positive supply or 5-volt supply. Then we have pin for enable, and it is used to enable LCD. It should be kept high to enable LCD and low to disable LCD. So this enable pin is this one. Now we have two other pins like RS and RW. RS is for register select. We need to set it low to send commands to LCD, and we need to set it high to send data to LCD. So these two commands we can use from RS pin. The RS pin is here. Now we have RW pin. RW stands for read or write. We need to keep it low for sending data to LCD and high to read data from LCD. Then we have V0, that is LCD contrast pin. Here we can see VEE. This is the same as V0. And this pin we can add a potentiometer as voltage divider to control the contrast of this digit or the display on the LCD using this pin. Now for data transmission, we have 8-bit pin D0 to D7. That is, here you can see D0, D1, D2 up to D7. So these 8-bit pins are used for data transmission. Finally, we have 2 pins for anode and cathode. A for anode and K for cathode. It is used for backlight. We need to connect A to VCC and K to ground. In the lower picture, you can notice that A is for anode, K is for cathode. So last 15 and 16 number pins are used for anode cathode. We need to configure all these pins accordingly in our project with Arduino. But you don't need to worry about all this complex thing because we have library for that. When we will be using Arduino and LCD together, we'll use a library for LCD, that is Liquid Crystal, and the library will take care of all these functionalities like when to send command, when to take data and send data. All these functionalities will be controlled from the library. You don't need to worry about that. But a little idea about all the pins is always good because it might come in handy when needed. Now, when you are working with LCD display with Arduino and without any I2C module, then we have two types of data mode for data transmission. The first one is 4-bit data mode, where you can use only 4 pin of the data connected with LCD. Notice here, the LCD has D0 to D7, total 8 pin for data transmission, 8 data pin. But when we are using as 4-bit mode, we will only use D4 to D7. It is slower, but it needs less pin. If you want a faster communication with LCD, then you can use all the 8-bit of LCD. It is faster, but it will require more wiring. In a nutshell, you can either use a 4-bit mode for data transmission or 8-bit mode. Both will work more or less same, but 8-bit is a little bit faster. And when you will work with LCD, you will have to define an LCD object. The process is you need to say liquid crystal. Then within the bracket, you need to define RS enable and what pins you will be using for data transmission like D4, D5, D6 and D7. This is the syntax. Don't worry about these syntaxes. We'll learn more details in the next slide. Similarly, if you are using 8-bit for data transmission, instead of D4 to D7, you will have to initialize the object with D0 up to D7. What are the basic steps of using LCD display in a program for Arduino? The first step is in importing a library, and the software of Arduino IDE, they have a built-in library with Arduino. It comes when you install the software at your PC. The library is liquidcrystal.h. This is an official library from Arduino. There are several other libraries also in the market available. Whatever library you use, you need to program accordingly. The second step is creating an LCD object. The process of creating an LCD object is you need to write liquid crystal and then give it a name. Like here we have given a name of LCD. You can give any other name also. Then initializing an LCD. The process of initializing an LCD is lcd.begin. Then you need to define the columns and rows. How many columns and how many rows are there in your LCD module? You need to define them here. The fourth stage is you need to set a cursor before you can print something on the LCD screen. So for that, the function is lcd.setCursor, then column, comma, row. Remember that LCD module, the first index is 0. Let me make clear how the coordinate system works. When we are using lcd.setCursor, we need to first define the column and then define the row. So according to this coordinate system, the first cell coordinate would be 0 column, 0 row. Remember, this is column 0, column 1. Similar way, the row, this side would represent row, and all this above value, this will represent column. Now, let's say this is the cell we want to coordinate. Then we can easily say the coordinate for this cell is 5, 0. This is the 5, and from this row, this is 0. If you want to access this cell, the coordinate should be 10, 1. If you want to access this cell, the coordinate would be 15, 1. I hope you got the idea how the coordinate system works for LCD set cursor. The fifth task, to print any data on the LCD, you will have to use lcd.print. Then within the bracket, you can print the data. If you are using different bases for number system like binary, decimal, octal, or hexadecimal, you can define that also here. If you want to initiate your print at the new line, you can write lcd.print line within the bracket your data. Finally, if you want to clear the display, the command for clearing the display is lcd.clear. These will be all necessary steps to interface an LCD with Arduino. If you want to learn more from this library, you can explore arduino.cc reference/n/libraries/liquid crystal. Under the liquid crystal library, there are several functions like the ones we have just discussed in earlier slides. There is LCD begin, LCD clear, lcd.setCursor, and so on. So here are some other advanced features like scrolling display to left, scrolling display to right, auto scrolling, then blinking, right to left, left to right, and many other functionalities. You can explore all of these features for yourself. So let's jump into the programming into Wii. Let us bring an LCD into the screen from the add new part. Here you can see there is an LCD with 16:2 and 20:4 configuration. Let's bring the first one. Okay, let's do the wiring first. The VS this is to be connected to ground. Also the K, this is to be connected to the ground. You can make the color black just to understand better. Then this VDD, this need to be connected to 5-volt power supply. So let's take this from here, bring it here all the way to 5-volt. You can make the color of this wire to red. Now you need to configure this RS. Let's connect this RS to 12 number pin, and you need to enable also. Let's connect the enable to pin 11. Let's make some space here. Okay. Now, if you're using 4-bit data mode, you need to configure any of these 4 pin of data pin of LCD to connect it with Arduino. Let's connect D4 to 7, D5 to 6, D6 to 5, and D7 to 4. Now, one more pin we need to configure, that is the anode pin. You can simply connect it to positive supply, or you can also connect it through a resistance. Let's connect a resistor here. Okay. Then connect one terminal to the resistor and other terminal of the LCD. Come here and connect to the 5 volt. You can also make the color of this wire to red. There is another pin, that is V0. This is used for contrasting. You can add an potentiometer. Let's bring in a potentiometer. Let's connect the ground to ground. Let's connect the VCC to VCC and connect the signal pin to the V0. Okay. Also change the color from here. This is red. This is black. And the signal pin, let's make it pink. Okay. Also, you can color this 4 data pin to another color just to make it more understandable or more distinct from the other wire. Okay, so I think that's all for wiring. You can adjust this potentiometer to change the color contrast of the LCD. Let's also configure the resistor values to something like 220 ohm. Alright, that's all for the configuration from hardware part. Now let's do the software part, that is the programming part. When you are interfacing an LCD with Arduino, there are several steps you need to follow while doing the programming. I have divided all the steps in 6 steps. The first step is including an LCD library. Let's do that. To add any library, you just need to write include. Then within the bracket, you need to put the library name, that is liquidcrystal.h. If you are working on OCUE, you need to add the library at the library manager also. So come to this library manager. From here, look for liquid crystal, and you can find the liquid crystal here. There is another library, liquid crystal I2C. We'll discuss this later when we'll be using an I2C module with LCD. For now, this is what we need. The second step is defining pins and creating an LCD objects. Okay, let's do that. There's many ways you can define a constant pin. You can simply write constant and define the pins for the LCD pins. Let's do this. The first one is RS, constant int RS equal to. So this RS is connected to 12th number pin of Arduino. So that's why we'll write 12 here. And we can define the next pin also. The E, that is the enable pin. EN, the enable pin is connected to 11. So let's do that. We need to define the data pin also. You can do the rest of the definition in the same definition or separately. Let's do this separately to make it more clearer. So constant in D4. D4 is connected to 7 number pin of Arduino. So that's why D4 is for 7, comma, D5 is for 6, comma, D6 for 5, and D7 for 4. So this is arbitrary task. You can choose any pin, and according to the hardware setup, you just need to define them here. Once again, let's make a cross check. D4, this is our D4. It's connected to 7 number pin of Arduino. D5 is connected to 6 number pin of Arduino. D6 is connected to 5 number pin of Arduino, and D7 is connected to 4 number pin of Arduino. So that's all for definition. Let's make the liquid crystal object now. To create a liquid crystal object, you need to write liquid crystal. Then you need to put a name for the object. It could be anything. So let's say LCD, and within bracket you need to put the defined pin here. First you need to define RS pin, then EN, then D4 to D7. you need to put a semicolon after each statement. So that's all for definition and creating LCD object. The third step is initializing an LCD. To initialize any LCD, you need to write this object name first, that is LCD, then begin. LCD begin takes two input. The first one is the column number, that is it is a 16 column LCD, and the second is row number. It has total 2 row. That's why you need to initialize LCD begin with this syntax, LCD.begin within the first bracket, the column number and the row number. Before you print something, you need to set the cursor from where it should start printing. To set the cursor, you need to write the object name first, then set cursor, and you need to write the column first. Column number is 0 and row number is 0 also for the first position of the LCD. So that's all for setting cursor. Now if you need to print something, you can use a command, that is object name dot print, then within apostrophe comma you need to put your message. Let's say we are doing Arduino training, master Arduino. This will print one message at the first row of the LCD display. Let's run it and see if it works. You see, master Arduino. Now if you want to print something at the second line of the LCD, you can do so by writing the coordinate for this cell is 0 column first row, 0, 1. Then you can print LCD dot print HKRoni. I'm putting my name. So let's see if it works. Here it is. So this is the way you can wire for your LCD screen with Arduino. I hope you got the idea. The video got a little bit long. I needed to explain a lot of things. In the next video, I'll show you some more exciting projects with LCD and Arduino. So that's all for this video. See you in the next video. Thank you.